Good afternoon, internet. So ordinarily I only make one video a day, if that, because I figure who wants to hear from me more often than that. But some big news happened while I was at work today. Yeah, don't mind me, van. Just go ahead and pull out with your giant trailer. Never mind that you have a stop sign and I don't. Anyway, God, some people. UPS just reserved 125 Tesla semi-trucks. This is the largest public pre-order so far. Now, previous to that, and I already made a video about it that you can go look at, but previous to that, the largest pre-order of the Tesla semi-trucks was PepsiCo. Pepsi is buying 100 of them, but UPS just went up to them with 125. This is going to cost them around $25 million to do. And the reason they say they're doing this is that they want to expand their fleet of alternative fuel vehicles. Now, I did not know this, but I guess UPS already has some delivery trucks that are running on propane or natural gas. They have some battery-operated vehicles. I didn't even know that there were other companies that were making battery-operated trucks capable of deliver, the sort of delivering capacity that that UPS requires. I had no idea, but they say that they, and I'm getting this from Reuters, by the way. They say that they've already got some battery-operated vehicles. I don't know what that means. Like, are there battery-operated vans? I can see that. Does anybody else know what other electric vehicles UPS is already invested in? I've seen natural gas and propane used, especially out here. A lot of applications. We have buses that run on that. I've seen some of the RTC vehicles run on that. We have school buses, mostly public transport things, but I didn't know there were delivery trucks using it. So that's pretty interesting. Has anybody seen or smelled a propane operated UPS delivery truck? Because if so, that's pretty interesting, and I'd love to know more about that. Now, Volkswagen and Daimler are working on electric medium-duty trucks right now, but so far Tesla is the only one developing the semi. Now, how long do you think that's going to be the case? How many companies need to invest how much money before you think that other companies maybe start trying to build electric semis? And who's going to do it first? Are we going to see auto manufacturers that already have electric vehicle programs in place and electric vehicle departments that are then going to start making Teslas? Or are there companies that are already producing diesel semi-trucks like Mack or International or Kenworth or Volvo? Are we going to see some of those companies then start to make electric Teslas, electric semis? Are they going to, sort of try to, jump on the platform and produce the same style and look of semi that they're already making, but, with an electric power plant? This seems to be a viable idea, but Tesla's the only one right now that we know about that is working on making these heavy-duty capacity trucks all electric. The UPS is making the investment, $25 million to electrify part of their fleet. I think it's pretty impressive, and it makes a degree of sense. But I've seen UPS trucks on the 15 between Las Vegas and Los Angeles, and on the 95 between Northern Nevada and Southern Nevada. I've seen the UPS trucks running 3 deep with the trailers, pulling triples. First of all, when I see diesel trucks doing it, it freaks me out. We get crazy winds out here. The whole thing rattles and shakes. Those things push a giant bubble of air that sort of pushes you around. When they go past you, going the other direction, and like the giant triples look freaky to me. I know I've got a lot of truck drivers who watch the channel or who will find the channel via various searches and stuff. If there are any truck drivers out there who have driven for UPS, I want to know what you guys think about this. If there are any truck drivers out there who have experience pulling triples, I don't know what that's all about. Do you need special licensure for that? Do you need special qualifications or special endorsements for that? Can anybody who has that class of license pull that many trailers at once? Do you guys think that the electric trucks are going to be able to pull 3 trailers deep, like I see so many UPS trucks doing? in the same way that the diesels are able to? Or they, what do you think that's going to do to the range? Because we've been talking about Tesla trucks for weeks now, guys. And I appreciate that everybody still has so much really good input for what they think the future of trucking looks like, how this is going to impact trucking. I've got a lot of people on here who actually have experience in trucking, who have either been truckers, are truckers, or know truckers, who have been sharing a lot of really valid information and valid experience. I don't have any trucking experience. I had a family member who drove for Swift for a number of years, but she retired from that ages ago, and things have changed. And that's pretty much all I know about that. I'm really interested in particular about this UPS thing. And also, it occurs to me that when I try to call up a memory of seeing another kind of truck, another company pulling 3 trailers, I think I've seen one Mayflower doing it, but that's all I've seen. Like, it's pretty much just UPS. And when I drive on the highway, I see it all the time, which indicates to me that these guys have massive volume. Now, there's also the UPS hubs in major cities. Like, we have a giant UPS hub attached to our airport where UPS, delivers all of its packages. And they go out to delivery in Henderson and Las Vegas from that hub. Now, their hub trucks are not the same as their semi-trucks. This makes a lot of sense. The hub trucks that go from the hub just out for delivery and stuff, it makes sense for them to want to electrify those vehicles, but those vehicles I don't see being semis. They're the UPS delivery trucks. And I don't know, they're investing in the semi-trucks, which indicates to me that they're planning on utilizing the semi-trucks for the purpose of, the long-haul transport needs that they have for the company. And I had a lot of skepticism from a lot of different people about whether or not the trucks are going to be okay in general. Now, this is not just about UPS or Pepsi. This is in general, okay? Walmart, no matter what company is going to be using them, everybody has their own opinion on whether or not the range of 500 miles, which is the range that Tesla is proposing, is going to be enough. Is that enough range in between charges? A lot of people have said 500 miles is a long time to drive without being able to pee. So the first time the driver needs to pee, he can just charge. Before you guys get on there with that same argument, that argument in particular, I'm kind of over because it's a bogus argument. That argument assumes that at the time at which the trucker needs to stop and eat or relieve himself, that there will be a charging station there. There's no way to time that. So either the driver has to stop at the first available charge station, maybe when he's still got 400 miles of range, or possibly go until they run out of charge. We don't know what the regen's going to be. We don't know how often they're going to have these stations or what the cost of recharging is going to be. We know it's going to take about 30 minutes to get back up to 80%, which is pretty cool. I am still skeptical of the 500-mile range. There are a lot of people who say that you can only drive so far in the the legally allowed period of operating time. So that's exactly why Tesla picked that number. I get that. I understand that. I have been speaking to a lot of independent truckers who say that 500 miles is not enough. That's all I'm saying about that. Okay. But I want to know what you guys think about UPS making this jump. I think it's fantastic. I think the more people and the more companies invest in this new innovation from Tesla, the more it's going to push for competition, the more it's going to prove that that Tesla's really onto something here, and that the world is ready for electric trucks, that the world is ready to start making that change. Now, that having been said, the power isn't free, guys. Like, a lot of power grids here in America still get their electricity from fossil fuels, particularly on the East Coast. We're still burning coal in order to boil water, in order to make steam, in order to turn turbines, in order to generate electricity in that old school way. So if you're a member of that power grid, you're a user on that power grid, and you plug in your electric car or your electric semi-Tesla truck, we're still charging it up with fossil fuels. So I realize that the system is not yet perfect, and we need to find new ways to get our electricity in the first place. Now, I live in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is, of course, powered by hydroelectricity at the Hoover Dam. There are a lot of arguments to be said that hydroelectricity is not actually clean electricity because of the massive and lasting impact that it has on its environment. For example, We now have something called Lake Mead at this section in the Colorado River, which was not previously there because we dammed up a valley, essentially, and filled it full of water. It causes all kinds of crazy weather. The lake makes its own weather that ordinarily wouldn't happen over a lake because it's a man-made lake, and there hasn't been a million years of wind and rain carving out that valley for the, you know, and it wasn't. We flooded a town, we flooded a lot of open desert land, and it changed the environment permanently. So I realize the hydroelectric power is not the bargain that it seems like it is. But at the very least, out here, we're not burning diesel to generate electricity for our grid, and we are not burning coal, because, well, coal doesn't come from here. This is not coal country. So there's the more electric cars and the more electric vehicles we have plugging in on the grid, the less what was I going to say? The more electric cars and electric trucks we have plugging in on the grid, the less electricity we have to go around for all of the other things that we already need electricity for. We don't produce the amount of electricity in America. We don't produce the energy that we use. We are at about 60% deficit here in America. We import 60% of our energy from other places, and that's not a very stable model at all. And most of the world has problems with sourcing its, you know, most of the first world has problems with sourcing its electricity and finding new and creative ways to do it. But at least the rest of the world is trying. Here in America, we really don't seem to be trying all that hard to update our power grids and things. We have one of the windiest states in the union here in Nevada, and we have one of the sunniest. And our legislation here, because of NV Energy and the things that they've done with, you know, Governor Sandoval and the laws that they've passed, have made it so that homeowners actually get punished. It costs them extra money. They get weird penalties and fines from the state of Nevada for adding solar panels to the roof of their house. If that makes you tear your hair out thinking, how freaking insane is that? It's like people in Washington being charged by the state for collecting rainwater. Yeah, that happens, and yes, people go to jail over it. It's a totally screwed up and backward system. And you know, I really wonder how long we're going to be able to balance these things. We have the need for electric cars, electric trucks, electric transport. We have the need for our alternative fuels, but we also have a political structure that is designed to maintain the status quo and is designed to keep these large corporations that we've put in charge of so many of our utilities. It's designed to keep them making profit and growing into the future, even though their future is fundamentally, it's not there. It's a future without a future. Now, if NV Energy would just invest in solar, go build a bunch of, get permission to build a bunch of solar panels on, you know, BLM land, or build a wind farm, and I would still be paying NV Energy for that power, only instead of my electricity only coming from Hoover Dam, it would now come from Hoover Dam and solar and wind, you know, and we could sort of try to supplement these things. You know, I could see maybe that sort of working and being a transitional thing. That's not the way it's set up now. So again, this is another stream of consciousness video, as most of mine are. This is just me having the babbles. I want to know what you guys think about this investment UPS has made. Is it a good investment? Is it a bad investment? I really, really, really want to hear from truckers about anybody who has worked for UPS, anyone who's driven a UPS truck, delivery or semi. I want to know about both. I want to know, especially if you've driven one of those propane trucks, I want to hear all about that. I have a soft spot for trucks, if you guys haven't noticed. I love big trucks. I love semis. I love tow trucks. I love construction vehicles. I like loaders. I love that show, what's that one show where the Yukon gold miners, and I can watch it on mute just because I like watching the equipment run. I like watching the big giant dredge that the Crazy Viking got working again. I like the loaders, guys. I get excited about big trucks. I don't know why, but I always have. They're just these massive machines that people like me, like my species, took part in producing to do these crazy things like move Earth. Like literally we can tear down and move mountains with these crazy diesel machines that we have built over the years. It's freaking fantastic. It just gets me excited and fired up, and the idea that these trucks are going to go EV it's just marvelous. It gets me really, really excited, and I'm fascinated about how these things work. So if you were a trucker and you have ever driven triple trailers, I want to know how that works, these crazy convoys. I realize they do it in Australia all the time with the highway trains or whatever crazy way they move goods across that massive and impossible continent. But out here, you don't see it very often, and when you do, it's usually UPS, at least on the highways that I'm regularly on. How does that change the handling of the vehicle? You're definitely not making any U-turns. How does that change how you park it, where you can go? Are there certain roads you're allowed to drive on and not allowed to drive on? What do you think, drivers who have done triple trailers that are hopefully going to see this at some point, what do you think a Tesla truck has to offer a situation like that? I really want to know. I think that's about enough babbling for today, given that this is my second video of the day, guys. But this is just very exciting, man. UPS invests $25 million in these Tesla trucks. Oh, that's so crazy. All right, guys. So if this is your first time on the channel, this is more or less what you can expect right now. I got big things coming in the future, which I'll talk about later. But please consider subscribing. And YouTube will recommend some other of my videos that they think that you'll like very much right over here. So I hope everybody has a really wonderful day. And yeah, this is Catherine with the EVs of Nevada, signing out.